So weird. Where are you, Facebook? There we are. That's good. That's good. Okay, Facebook. You're so weird. As per usual. So weird with the Facebook. And also, sorry, Instagram. Weird lighting on Instagram right now. Let me see, maybe I can put this over here and get a little better lighting. Who knows? Dare to dream, right? Yeah? Might be a little better. Might be a little better. I don't know. Could be better lighting. If you know me at all, you'll notice that I may or may not have changed my hair. Got a little bored. Not bad, I got a little bored. Good afternoon, by the way. I got a little bored, but also I just don't like long hair. Hey, what do you know? Just don't like it. So I kept trying, man. I kept trying. Kept be like, okay, go to the hairdresser and be like, okay, let's take it. Let's not cut it yet. Let's do another couple months. Let's just wait and see. Let's do another couple months. Let's do a little bit longer. Hi, Julia. Yeah, let's do a little longer. And then finally today I was just like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I am done. And that is the longest my hair has been. It was down to here. That's the longest my hair has been since, I don't know, probably since I was since 20 years ago. I had my hair relatively long when I got married, but that was intentionally grew it out. But let me just say, since I was in my early 20s, that's the longest it's been. So I was just like, here we go. Done. It's all good. So there you go. Little change around. It's all good. And it's not that short. I know people, but I still have hair in the back, which I don't normally have. Normally when I have this, when it's short in the front, it's bzzz at the back, which I didn't do this time around because, it's winter. Anywho, here we are with shorter hair. Oh, this looks fun. Oh gosh, just getting used to it, right? Anywho, hey. It's, what day is it? I have no idea. Is it Thursday? I think it must be Thursday. It's Thursday today, the 23rd of December. And we are heading into some serious holiday season here in North America anyway, and in my house. Serious holiday season, which is great, so great. So this is a little pop-up live office hours, and it is the last one before Christmas, before December 25th, and I will likely do another one next week, between Christmas and New Year's. I'll likely do another pop-up, but not my regular scheduled, as you can see. So, how is everybody? Hope you're doing fine. Hope you're finding your way into the holiday season, and that it is what can I say? That is as joyful as possible. We're just in such strange times, right? Which we've been saying for 2 years. Wow, these are really strange times. Yeah, we've been saying that for 2 years. Anyhow, going into the third year of this virus thing. So I am just here today with a couple of thoughts to, lead you into Christmas. One of the thoughts that I wanted to talk about, my name is Dr. Shannon Coates, and I am here in a little town that is north of Toronto, and that is the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, and the Wendat-Neotseo peoples. And my pronouns are she, they. And like I said, we're just heading into the season here. And as you likely know, if you've been following me, if you've been around, you may know that my online course, The Vocal Instrument 101, is having its third anniversary this month, and therefore 'tis on sale. So you can check out my website if you like. And the majority of the people who have bought the Vocal Instrument 101 this month are people who, have a little thing for like, where did you hear about me? Blah, in there, a little tracking thing. Don't worry. It's just so that I can figure out where people are. And the majority of people have said Instagram or Facebook, not my mailing list. So the majority of people are like, okay, well, what do you know? So there you go. So here I am on Instagram and Facebook, just talking, just telling you stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, I want to talk about two things today. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, I've been putting out in the socials recently, what are the things that you bring to teaching and to the voice studio that are uniquely yours and that you can't learn in a VoicePed course or a text or or a class, right? What are the things that you bring into the studio? And some folks are like, I'm still trying to figure that out, and there are lots of just beautiful responses to that, and I've posted them on my social media, and they'll be in my newsletter too. So if you're interested in seeing some more of those, feel free. And if you would still like to let me know, I would love to hear it. So there's lots of beautiful responses, which I love. And just kind of following along on those lines, I also wanted to just say today a couple of things that the Vocal Instrument 101, as useful as it is, I mean, I truly believe it's useful or I would not have created it, right? Like, obviously, I think there's a place for this in the world. And I definitely think there's a place for voice pedagogy courses and classes in the world, and for textbooks as well, right? Those things I 100% believe that there is a place for those in the world and that they are useful and necessary. And at the same time, I want to just say again, I want to be so clear again and say some of the things, there are so many things that you cannot learn from taking a VoicePed class or a VoicePed course or a conference. I did a conference over the last 3 weekends in December, or the first 3 weekends in December, which just happened to be the last 3 that we just experienced in December. Does that make sense? Anyway, I did a conference that was voice pedagogy related and science of the voice and some interesting stuff in that, Johann Sundberg and, Dr. Law, her first name has just gone out of my head, and Brian Gill, and I can't remember first name, and it was terrific. It was a terrific course, really good information and some very rigorous science stuff. So just terrific, and some good application as well. There were some not necessarily application for us, but application where Brian Gill was working with singers and applying some of the things that we had talked about in the course. So terrific, it was terrific. And as you likely know, I am developing the VoicePed Undegree coming out in 2022. So I believe, and I teach undergraduate VoicePed, like I believe in courses and in the value, but I'm also so very much aware, and something that I really want to emphasize one more time, that the things that a course like the Vocal Instrument 101 or like courses where we have the practical application, in a masterclass setting or something like, or in teaching one another, even where we have that kind of interaction where we get to apply right away. The thing that we don't learn, that we so often don't learn in a course like that, by reading a textbook, in all of those things, the things that we don't learn are, what are our values? What do I value, and what kind of teacher am I? In other words, what do I bring to the classroom, or sorry, to the studio? What do I bring to the studio that is uniquely mine? And how does that then manifest in my teaching? How does that then manifest in the way that I interact with students, with singers? How does that manifest in how I set up my policies? We so often lose this thread. Oh, it's church today, right? Yeah. Take me to church. What do I bring? Who am I in this relationship, right? Those things are not things that are taught in that we not necessarily, let me just say for the majority, are not things that we learn in voice pedagogy courses, classes, resources, textbooks. We just don't learn those things. Where we learn those things is in our everyday work and the things that we do as people and our relationships. And, you know, if we are being intentional about things when we, however we, you know, learn those things for ourselves. And then we learn it by working it out. We learn it by doing it. We learn who we are by doing the thing. And how we then express, how we give feedback, how we treat a student's why, if you will, how we respond to a student's why, how we value a student's why, a singer's why they're in the studio, how we value our own why, how we vocalize and give voice to our own why and values. So how we lead with values and how we lead with our core beliefs and all of those fancy woo words, those things are all part of what we do. And those are not the things, and they are the things that we bring to the studio that you can't learn in VoicePed, in a VoicePed class. You can't learn this stuff in a VoicePed class. So those are the things that that I would love, if you haven't already, I would love for you to start to think about intentionally, if you have some time in the holidays, to start to think about those kinds of things intentionally. What do I bring to the studio? What do I bring that is uniquely mine? And then, am I able to put that at the forefront of the way that I work in the studio? How does what I believe about humanity, how does what I believe about the importance of the voice, how does what I believe about the impact of music, how does what I believe about student-led learning, how do all of those things about the fundamental goodness of human beings, how do all of those things come together in my teaching? And then is that being expressed in my policies? Is that being expressed in the way that I treat, in the way that I set boundaries, in the way that I communicate what I am offering in lessons? How are all of those things, all of those beliefs, all of those values, are those values front and center in the way that I am running my studio? Are they there in my policies? Are they there in the way that I frame makeup lessons, for example, or cancellations and makeup lessons? Are those, do I truly believe that people are inherently good and are doing their best? Which took me a little while to be able to articulate that one, because I was raised as a good evangelical kid, and so I was always at odds with that, you know, because I wasn't necessarily raised, whether implicitly or explicitly, to believe that people were inherently good, right? People are inherently bad, and that's why they need Jesus. That's how I was raised. And so that was at odds, really. That belief was at odds. And I'm not saying that this is the way that everybody believes, and please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying that was my experience being raised in the church, and the way that I was raised. That was just my experience. And so that was always at odds with the fact that I actually thought that people were pretty good. I love people. So that belief was always at odds. And it took me a while to actually come really come around to, people are trying their best and people are fundamentally good and, overall are good. And yes, people are harming people in many ways, and yet people are trying their best and fundamentally good. The majority. Let's say it that way. So once I started to be able to have that as an explicit value for myself, then that starts to change how I structure, again, coming back, it changes how I structure studio policies. That changes how I structure, and how I talk about what I offer on my website. That changes. It changes everything when I think about, when I am explicit about that belief, and it changes everything around how I run my business. So all the things, yes, turning beliefs into behaviors, exactly. So all of the things that you can't learn in a voice-ped class or course or textbook, that you can't learn from a textbook, all of those things that you can't learn, and all of the things that you bring uniquely you, that are uniquely you, all of your values and beliefs, those things, I would love for you to have some thoughts about that over the next little while, if you want to. I encourage you to, if you want to, and to, like I said, see whether those fundamental beliefs are being expressed in the way you want them to be expressed in your studio. Adam Grant, I posted this on both Instagram and Facebook a couple of days back. Adam Grant had and now I'm wishing I had pulled it up because, of course, I didn't think about this in advance. No, I did not. He did a post about absolute honesty. Authenticity, that's right. Authenticity. He said something about authenticity doesn't give you license to be hurtful. That isn't the way he put it. I'm paraphrasing. It said it is an invitation to ensure, or it doesn't give you license to say whatever you want. Just because it's authentic, right? It doesn't give you a license to say whatever you want. What it does is it gives you, I think I said invitation. So there's an invitation when you're working with authenticity and trying to be authentic. That is an invitation then for you to make sure that the words that come out of your mouth are aligned with your values before they come out of your mouth. So if my value is that, and this is the way, again, this is coming back to working in the studio. So if my value is that you are fundamentally good and you are trying your hardest, you are working and doing what you can, and you are trying in the studio as a student, what is not going to come out of my mouth then is you're lazy, right? I'm not going to even think that you're lazy, even though that might be considered authentic, right? It might be considered authentic to say you're lazy, you don't work hard enough. And it also might be considered my job to get somebody industry ready, if you will, right? Industry ready. Those two words are tough. Ooh, those are tough words. Anyway, we're not talking about those today. But I may think that the right thing, the authentic thing for me to do for a student is to say, you're not working hard enough, you're never going to make it, you're never going to accomplish your goals, you're lazy. But if I throw that thought through my value filter, and I say, but I actually don't believe that about people. I don't actually believe that people are lazy. I don't actually believe that people are not working hard enough. I actually believe that people are fundamentally good and that they're trying their best, that they're doing their best. I actually believe that people are doing their best. So if that's my value, then I need to, if I think that someone isn't working hard enough, then I need to put that through my value filter. And what's going to come out on the other side of my value filter is something like, how can we work together? What can we do to ensure that you are successful in the way that you want to be? What do we need to change? What can we adjust in order to make sure that you are successful in the way you want to be? Rather than, you're never going to make it, you're not working hard enough, right? See how that changes my authenticity? It changes the way that I work with my student if I put my belief through my value filter, or if I put my belief filter, if you will. If I put my thought and what I think I'm supposed to say in order to be authentic, in order to do right by this student and get them industry ready, if you will, if I put that through my value filter, that comes out in a whole other way. And same thing, I know I've said this before, but same thing about cancellation policies, right? If I think I've got to protect myself in order to make sure that no one takes advantage of me, and so I have to put in 48 hours or they don't get a lesson or whatever it is, I have to put in some kind of parameter around that. I'm not saying you shouldn't have boundaries. I'm just saying put that through your value filter. Put that idea through your value filter. So my value filter says that people are doing their best and they're not going to take advantage of me, but they might feel they need to take advantage of me and lie to me if I've got a punitive makeup policy going on, right? So then they might feel like they have to lie to me in order to because the makeup policy is punitive. So instead, if I put that through my filter, through my values filter that says, I believe that people are fundamentally good and I believe that people are doing their best and that no one is trying to take advantage of me, but that people are going to treat me, people are going to treat me with respect if I give them the opportunity to do that, then that changes the way that I set up a makeup policy, right? That changes how I view people's, my hair is crazy right now. That changes a whole bunch of things about how I set up my makeup policy or what I believe about cancellations and last minute cancellations and how I can make last minute cancellations work beautifully. I've done lots of lives about that, so I won't belabor that one, but all I'm saying is, as we go into the new year, this is always the time, where we traditionally do some self-reflection. I hate self-reflection. It's gross and yucky. I hate feelings. Blech, blech, blech. But if you're interested, do a little bit of thinking in that light and a little bit of thinking about, what are my fundamental beliefs here and my values? And are there things in my studio and the way that I'm teaching, the way that I'm treating people, the way that I'm running my studio? I agree, Christy. Yeah. If the policies, if you have punitive policies, then people will do what they can to try to not be punished, right? Like, of course they're going to. So you're basically teaching people to, I shouldn't say you're teaching people to, but some people are going to try to not be punished. Of course they are. That is fair. That's absolutely fair. So let's change so that we don't have punitive policies. We can make them that in the way they are. We can do that. We are independent voice studios. We can do whatever we want. And then the second thing that I'd be very curious to know, and that I'm going to throw up on the socials in the next little while. The other thing that I would love to hear from you if you're interested in responding is, seeing as we are heading into Christmas, Santa. My question is this: if Santa could give you something that you could download, something voiceped related that you could download, Matrix style, you could just hook it in and put the floppy disk in. If Santa could put something like that under your Christmas tree, if you celebrate Santa and all that stuff, what would it be? What would it be? It could be a download of your values and understanding your values and how that relates to your systems that you have in place. If you wanted that to be your thing, that's cool. The thing, not to spoil my social media posts that are going to come out later today, but one thing that I would love to have another 20 years of experience under my belt, but have it now. So that I can really, really diagnose. I mean, I'm a fairly confident diagnostician at this point. I've been doing this quite a while, but I'm a fairly confident diagnostician personally. But I would still love to be able to have like pinpointed, immediate diagnosing, and to go along with that, I would love to have to know exactly exactly how to deal with it, like immediately with every single person. I would love to just have that exact, which, maybe in another 20 years of teaching, I might have that. It gets better, it just gets better with experience. That's one of those things that you only get better by doing it. You can't get better. You can't become a better diagnostician by taking a voice ped course. You will, but you can't become like, you may by taking a voice ped course, you may start to hear things in a different way, of course, and you may get some different understanding of what's happening in the voice, and that's all good. That's all going to help to contribute to better diagnostic skills for sure. But the only thing that gets you, Christy's adding to that one. Add on how to communicate the diagnosis to students with different learning styles. Yes, I know. Well, and basically to every individual person, right? Because everybody has a different learning style, right? Every single person in front of you is like, we're all such individuals that it's actually fascinating because we actually all learn in a very similar way, like in the way that once we've taken the information in and the way we process information, humans all learn fundamentally the same way. We all process and, have information in fundamentally the same way, but we also all take information in completely different ways, right? We're all uniquely taking in information depending on how it's being delivered, who it's being delivered by, how we feel about the person, how we feel in our emotions, just like how life is going. There's lots of research that shows that we learn much better if we are happier. Than if we're worried. If we're worried or in a constant state of anxiety, if we're someone who is a highly anxious person, we're not going to learn as well. That is the way that our brains work. Why? I don't, there's lots of science behind that. So like, yes, exactly. So Christy, yes. How do we then communicate that diagnosis to specific people uniquely to every single, yes, I would love to have that skill as well. All the teaching skills. But again, these are skills that can only learn by doing. Can only learn. The best way to learn is by doing. Yeah. Those are those skills. Is what it is. But like I said, if I could download them matrix style, that would be the thing that I would download. Pinpoint exact diagnosis, pinpoint exact exercise or technique to get there, and then pinpoint exact how to communicate with the student about it. Not asking too much. Not too much at all. It's all good. Terrific. So, if you celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, if you are a Christmas celebrator. And if not, but you do like Santa, I hope Santa brings you lots of presents. or Santa adjacent, I don't know. And all of the happy holiday wishes to one and all. Have a wonderful, I hope, joy-filled, if at all possible, holiday. Take good care. I will see you before the new year for one final jump on here. But in the meantime, take good care. Happy teaching. I will probably see you sometime next week. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, take good care.